All right, so get this. We're always told how secure the Apple App Store is.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's this impenetrable fortress.
Right. Yeah.
Well, maybe we need to rethink that a bit because we've got some news from Kaspersky, those cybersecurity experts.
Yeah.
They put out a report February 4th, 2025. And get this. They found crypto-stealing apps.
Oh, wow.
And not just on Google Play, in the Apple App Store, too.
First time.
Yeah, first time ever. So much for that fortress, huh?
Wow, that's really shaking things up. What are these apps going after?
Well, they're after something pretty valuable. Your crypto wallet recovery phrase.
Oh, yeah. Those are like the golden ticket to your crypto.
Yeah. If someone gets a hold of that, they can basically bypass all your passwords and drain your wallet.
It's like having the master true to Fort Knox just sitting out in the open.
Right. Seriously scary stuff.
Yeah.
Especially since Kaspersky is saying hundreds of thousands of people downloaded these infected apps.
Yikes. So how are these apps even getting in there? I mean, how are they tricking people?
Well, this is where it gets even sneakier. This whole thing's being called the SparkCat campaign.
SparkCat?
Yeah. And it seems they tricked developers into including this malicious code.
Huh. How do you do that?
It was hidden inside an SDK, a software development kit.
Oh, so like a pre-made chunk of code that developers use to add features to their apps.
Exactly. So these developers probably had no clue they were spreading something harmful.
Wow, that's messed up. How does this code even work? Does it like magically grab your recovery phrase from thin air?
Not quite. It's more like digital spying.
Oh.
They use something called OCR, optical character recognition.
Okay.
So basically it scans screenshots you take. If you ever took a screenshot of your recovery phrase, which, by the way, huge no-no,
Right.
this code can grab it straight from your photos.
Oh, man, I've definitely taken screenshots of important stuff before. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, we're talking over 242,000 downloads on Google Play alone. And the fact that it's on the Apple App Store, too.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Like
Yeah.
finding a weakness in Fort Knox.
Totally changes the game.
Mm-hmm.
So how's this even happening on iPhones? I thought they were supposed to be so secure.
Well, to try and blend in on iOS, this thing uses different names, like gzip, Google, Bixgay, even just plain stat.
Sneaky.
Right. And to talk to the people behind it, it uses this thing called imnitsies.
Imnitsies. What's that?
It's like a networking module. Helps it connect to their command servers.
So basically, even iPhone users aren't safe. It's like this malware is a master of disguise.
Yeah, it can adapt too. It's not just targeting English speakers.
Oh, no.
The malware can recognize characters in lots of languages. Latin, Korean, Chinese, Japanese.
Wow, so they're really casting a wide net.
And they're getting specific too. Using keywords related to crypto in those languages. Seems like they're targeting certain regions.
So it's not just random.
Mm-hmm.
It's targeted. That's both impressive and unsettling.
And Kaspersky even warns it might work outside of those regions, too.
So even if you think you're safe because you're not in one of those target areas...
Doesn't mean you are.
Man, this thing is adaptable. Plus, you said it's not just after the recovery phrase. It sends back other info, too.
Right. Sends back info about your device to those command servers.
So hold on. It's not just about losing your crypto. We're talking data theft, too. This is getting scary.
It is a serious privacy concern.
Okay, so how many apps are we talking about here? And are they still out there? Like, should we be checking our phones right now?
Well, Kaspersky found 18 Android apps and 10 iOS apps infected. And get this, some of them are still available.
What? Seriously?
Yeah.
Even after they were discovered?
Yeah, it's concerning. They mentioned this one Android app called Chat-Eye.
Okay.
Had over 50,000 downloads before it was removed.
50,000. That's a lot of people. So what can we do to protect ourselves? I mean, if people are listening to this and starting to panic, what should they do?
First thing, check your phone for any suspicious apps. If you see any of the ones Kaspersky mentioned, uninstall them right away.
Good advice. And running a mobile antivirus scan never hurts.
Definitely not. And let's be super clear about this. Don't store your crypto recovery phrase in a screenshot on your phone.
Yeah, that's like leaving the keys to your house under the welcome mat.
Exactly. Treat it like your social security number or bank details. Keep it safe. Write it down. Store it somewhere secure. Maybe use an encrypted storage device.
All good advice.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot. We know what these apps are, how they work, how to protect ourselves.
Right.
But it brings up a bigger question, doesn't it? What does this all mean for app stores? For the security of our devices?
That's the million-dollar question, and one we'll dive into right after this. It really makes you think about those app permissions, Like we just click accept without even thinking.
Right. Like we're just handing over the keys to our digital lives.
Exactly. And then this happens, your crypto's at risk just because you took a screenshot.
It's a wake-up call for sure. So besides being careful about permissions, what are the bigger implications here? Could this change how app stores work? Or even how apps are developed?
I think it has to. This is huge. It's like a giant red flag for the whole tech industry. App stores got to step up their game. Developers need to be way more careful about the code they're using, and us. We need to wake up and realize the risks.
It's on all of us, for sure.
Yeah.
But one thing that gets me is that some of these developers had no idea they were spreading bad code.
Right.
So where's the blame? Is it just the people behind SparkCat? Or are the app stores responsible too?
That's tough. It's easy to point fingers, but at the end of the day, it's about accountability. Who's making sure these apps are safe? Is it the developer, the app store, or is it on us?
Yeah, it's a tangled web.
Yeah.
And I can't help but wonder about the legal side of things. People are losing money. Developers and app stores are getting bad reputations. Could this lead to lawsuits?
It's definitely possible. I mean, we've already seen lawsuits over data breaches and other cybersecurity stuff. So yeah, legal action wouldn't surprise me. And this could even push governments to step in, make stricter rules for app stores and developers.
Especially with crypto getting bigger and bigger. Regulators are always trying to catch up. This could force them to take app security way more seriously.
Yeah, we're already seeing more focus on data privacy and online security in general, so it makes sense for that to extend to apps.
Right, it's all connected. And, some regulation might not be a bad thing. It could set some clear standards and make everyone accountable.
Definitely. But we got to find that balance, between security and innovation. We don't want to stop new apps from being made, but we can't ignore the threats either.
It's a tough line to walk. But this whole conversation shows just how much is at stake. It's not just about money. It's about privacy, our data, even our sense of security in this digital world.
Right. It's a big reminder that the online world isn't always a safe place. We can't just assume someone else is taking care of our security for us.
We got to be proactive.
Exactly. We got to be informed. We got to be careful. And we got to take responsibility for our own digital lives.
That means being careful about the apps we download, paying attention to permissions, and taking steps to protect our information.
And talking about it, having these conversations, sharing what we know so everyone can be more aware.
It's funny. At first, this whole crypto stealing app thing seemed kind of niche, like it only affects crypto people.
Right.
But the more you think about it, the bigger it gets. It's about trust and security and how we interact with technology. It's a story that everyone needs to hear.
I agree. It's not just a tech story. It's a human story, and it's still going on. So what are some key takeaways you want people to remember from all this?
Well, the main thing for me is that the digital world's always changing. What's safe today might not be safe tomorrow. We got to stay informed, change our habits, and be proactive about protecting ourselves. It's like we're always playing catch up with these guys.
Right.
As soon as we figure out how to stay safe, they find a new way to get us.
It's a cat and mouse game for sure. That means we can't just relax and think we're done. We got to keep learning, keep our guard up.
Exactly. And I think that's a big takeaway from this whole thing. Knowledge is power. The more we know about the threats out there, the better we can protect ourselves.
Yeah, I agree. It's why we do what we do right, these deep dives. We're trying to shine a light on these issues so people can make smart choices about their security.
And, I got to admit, the more I learn about cybersecurity, the more I realize how much, I don't know, it can be a little overwhelming.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's a complex landscape.
But I guess the key is to focus on what we can control, right?
Absolutely.
Taking those practical steps, like being careful with our apps and passwords, staying informed, and not being afraid to ask for help if we need it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And remember, even small changes can make a big difference. Just taking a few minutes to review your app permissions or update those passwords can really boost your security.
It's all about building those good digital habits. And sometimes it helps to think about this as more than just a personal thing.
Right.
Like it's a responsibility we all share.
What do you mean?
Well, we need to look out for each other, share information about threats, help those who maybe aren't as tech savvy.
Oh, I like that. It's like creating a culture of cybersecurity awareness. We all play a part in making the digital world a safer place.
Exactly. So to everyone listening out there, I hope this deep dive has given you some food for thought, maybe even inspired you to take your digital security a little more seriously.
That's what we're hoping for.
Remember, knowledge is your best weapon. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and stay safe out there in the wild west of the internet.
And if you're ever not sure about something, don't be afraid to reach out to someone you trust. There are tons of resources out there to help you navigate this whole cybersecurity world.
For sure. And with that, we'll wrap things up for today. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of crypto stealing apps and the bigger security questions they raise. We'll be back soon with another fascinating look at the digital world. Until then, stay curious and stay safe.